Part 11. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 101. Chapter 101 Yunya Poisoning, 3. In the blink of an eye, a dozen needles were pierced into Baitang Yunya's chest, and immediately, another dozen needles were pierced into Baitang Yunya's back. Then they inserted 3 more needles into his danshan, and immediately, a magical scene happened in front of their eyes. I saw Baitang Yunya's black and green body starting to fade away from her face, then her neck, then her chest and back. Her chest and back almost faded away together. Wearing pants underneath, they couldn't see the condition of the legs, but the exposed feet had returned to their original color. It was obvious that the black and green colors started to fade from the feet up. Together, the black and green faded toward the middle of her body, and the last bit of black and green gathered 3 inches above her navel, forming a thick black circle the size of her fist. Xianxia applied another 7 needles around the thick black circle. The previous needles were to force the poison into one place, but these 7 needles were the ones that truly suppressed the poison. She was not in a hurry to pull out the 7 needles, but she took out the other needles. After calmly sterilizing them with wine, she put them back into the needle roll in order, and then sat on a round stool to wait. No one dared to ask a question, they just looked at it. Everyone was shocked, including Deng Chang's. Although he knew that Xiao Luo'er's silver needle skills were very powerful, he had never seen her perform acupuncture with his own eyes. This was also the first time. He didn't expect her to be so skilled in acupuncture. This was not the case. You can practice it behind closed doors. Xiao Luo'er hid quite well and deceived everyone in the Tianshan Empire. Ji Zhuzhong came to Xianyuan sect to see her for acupuncture. It was Xiao Luo'er who helped him once in Wanghai Forest. This means that he didn't know that Xiao Luo'er's silver needle technique was so powerful before, otherwise he wouldn't have known it. Break off the engagement with her and let her leave Tianshan Imperial City. Things that even the regent of the Tianshan Empire didn't know, how could other people know, including the Yu family? If they knew that Xiao Luo'er had superb medical skills, would they still treat her like that? Will you still sever ties with her? A quarter of an hour later, Xianxia stood up, pulled out the 7 needles outside the thick black circle, disinfected them with wine, put them in the needle roll, and put the needle roll away. Everyone looked at the thick black circle, but Deng Chang spoke first. Xiao Luo'er, are you suppressing it now? Master, yes, it can be suppressed for a month, but please don't let Baitang's nephew use his spiritual power within this month. Everything else can be normal. Xianxia nodded. Hearing what she said, several people finally dared to speak. One of them, a man who was older than her master and whom Xianxia didn't know, spoke first. Junior brother, it's no wonder that master keeps talking about Xiao Luo'er and Xiao Luo'er all day long, saying that our fellow apprentice brothers are not even as good as Xiao Luo'er when pinched together. I didn't believe it before, but today I'm convinced by this girl's silver needle technique. Xianxia knew the man's identity after listening to his words. The person who could call her master and junior brother could only be his master's senior brother. Her master was the disciple of Master Qin He, so this man must be his master's senior brother. At this time the only one who can be here is the previous sect leader, his uncle. She immediately saluted and said, Xianxia has met the great uncle. You girl is very smart. The former sect leader Du Mingsheng looked at her with a smile, then took out a brocade box and handed it to her. This is a meeting gift. Xianxia looked at her master, Deng Chang's nodded, and then she took the brocade box with both hands. Thank you, uncle. She couldn't accept this as a thank you gift, but she really couldn't help but accept it as a meeting gift. Her uncle is also a very wise person. Besides, the great uncle is the former sect master, and since he has helped his disciples face, the meeting gift given to him must not be ordinary. Du Mingsheng himself also has a female apprentice, Miao Yu. However, Although this apprentice's qualifications are good, her talent in alchemy is average. He tried his best to make her a 5th-grade alchemist, but that was all. She is not as considerate as the disciple. She wants to see if she wants the master's permission to receive a gift. It is not because she is afraid of her master, it is out of respect. The moral character of a child with this kind of character cannot be faulted. Junior brother has persisted for so many years, and he has indeed gained a delightful apprentice. Uncle, I have eaten at your master's place. Xiao Luoyer's cooking skills are really good. Du Mingsheng no longer worried about his disciple Bai Tangyunyu, and he felt much more relaxed. Xiang Luo is greedy and likes to think about food, so she is pretty good at cooking. If my uncle has time to go to Thousand Poison Peaks, I will cook him a table of specialty dishes, Xiang Luo said generously. She will not deliver food to the great uncle, she is too busy every day. Besides, he was different from Master Qin He, who was very kind to her. The sect master dressed and settled his disciple, got off the bed, and said with a smile, "Master, you don't know, Yun Yu often goes to Thousand Poison Peak to have a meal." Du Mingsheng was a little surprised. This guy looks cold. I didn't expect that he is also a foodie. He actually put down his body and went to eat. It's such a hard work. It's not hard, I also borrowed the help of Baitang's nephew and ate a lot of delicious food. This sentence is true. Every time Baitang Yunya goes to eat, she doesn't go empty-handed. She always brings various ingredients with her. Some ingredients are not easy to get. No matter how much she loves to eat, she doesn't have time to get them. But as Baitang Yunyu, as the prince of a country, no matter how unpopular he is still treated well and can always get some rare ingredients. Miao Yu had turned around at this time and saw that the always serious master was so kind to Yan Xiangluo and even gave him a meeting gift. Not everyone has such an honor. Even senior brothers like them can only bring their disciples to meet him. A few people can get a meet and greet gift. Baitang Yunyu is one of them. The master likes this disciple very much, and they all have no objection. After all, Baitang Yunyu's talent is indeed very strong. At this moment, Baitang Yunyu woke up on the bed. Everyone felt his movement and looked at him in unison. Baitang Yunyu opened his eyes and saw a scene that shocked him. Why were so many people gathered around his bed, even his master Qin He? He quickly wanted to get up, but was held down by his master. Have a good rest. You don't need to take into account the etiquette at this time. However, this time you have to thank Uncle Chiu for suppressing your poison, the sect master said in a gentle tone. Baitang Yunyu was still a little confused, but after listening to his master's words, he solemnly thanked Yan Xiangluo. Yan Xiangluo waved her hands and said, "You don't need to thank me. I just suppressed the poison in your body. The one who can really save you is my master." She is telling the truth. Although she is already a 3rd-grade alchemist, at her current level, she still cannot refine the detoxifying pill that can detoxify Baitang Yunyu. End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 102. Chapter 102 Yunyu Poisoning, 4. Although Baitang Yunyu woke up, his body was still very weak from the poison. He couldn't get up and could only lie down and talk. The people in front of him were all his elders. This was a bit disrespectful, but the situation was special and he also knew them. Wouldn't blame him. I still want to thank Master Uncle Yu. Without Master Uncle Yu to help me suppress the poison in my body, I wouldn't have been able to wait for Master Deng's detoxification pill to detoxify. I will keep the kindness between Master Uncle Yu and Master Deng in my heart, and I will definitely repay each other in the future. Yan Xiangluo did not refuse Baitang Yunyu's words of repayment, and said with a smile, "If you really want to repay me, you can get more rare ingredients in the future. You can continue to go to Qianda Peak to eat." Yan Xiangluo's words made Baitang Yunyu feel relaxed instantly. "Okay, I will definitely find all the rare ingredients in the entire continent and continue to eat at Uncle Yu's place. The two of them brushed off the life-saving grace so lightly, but it was obvious that their relationship became even better. Everyone present felt a little complicated. How long had it been since they had seen such pure feelings? You should have a good rest. You will regain your strength in 3 days. I will go back first to avoid being carried back by my master again. It will be very embarrassing. After all, I am also a master. Uncle Yuan Xianglou smiled slyly, then he saluted Master Qinhe and left after saying goodbye. Bai Tangyunyu is already awake, and there is nothing she needs to do. Other matters are not something she can decide. After his master refined the detoxifying pill and completely saved Bai Tangyunyu, it was time to finally resolve this matter. As for how to deal with Miao Chang'ai, I am afraid that the Emperor of the Hankai Empire will not be able to decide until he expresses his stance. After all, the major empires in the mainland are not so easy to offend. That empire has not yet used its trump cards, especially a large empire like Hanxi. Without any foundation, how can it be ranked among the mainland empires? Even a large sect like the Xianhuan sect cannot easily turn against the Hankai Empire. Seeing her rare lively look, Deng Chang smiled and said, "Okay, Master knows that you also want to save face, and I promise not to carry you in the air again in the future." Others also smiled and agreed, the best solution is for Xiao Luo to break through to the king level this morning. Yan Xiangluo left Bai Tangyunyu's room amidst the charitable chatter and laughter of everyone. Of course, except for Miao Yu. Miao Yu himself now doesn't know what kind of mentality to use when facing Ruan Xiangluo. The 4 people who were listening attentively outside the door saw Yan Xiangluo coming out. They immediately stood in a row with their backs straight and looked at her with complicated eyes. During the sect training, Bai Tangyunyu invited Ruan Xiangluo to form a team with them. The scene of them being disgusted and rejecting Ruan Xiangluo was still vivid in their minds. It had only been more than a year. When they saw Ruan Xiangluo again, she had become an existence that they could not see through. Her cultivation level is still not as good as theirs, but the gap with them is extremely small. The one with the highest cultivation level among the 4 of them has broken through to the king level. Those who have not broken through to the king level are all at the peak of the 9th level of the spiritual level, but Yuan Xiangluo is already at the 7th level of the spiritual level. It's okay to break through to the king level. After all, they know how difficult it is to break through. It does take time. They are all very talented. They were still at the peak of the 9th level of the spiritual level for several years before they succeeded. There is a bit of pressure for not breaking through. Big. Although Yan Xiangluo is a generation ahead of them, she has made such great progress just over a year after joining the section. In such a comparison, what do these recognized geniuses mean to them? Yan Xiangluo ignored them. Apart from Bai Tangyunyu, she was not familiar with any of the disciples of the Xianhuan sect, especially since she had the experience of being rejected during her first training. Just whistled and the white eagle flew over. She took the white eagle back to 1000 Poison Peaks. From the time she arrived to the time she left, the only disciple among the 4 who was in a bad mood was Lu Yuexi, the 5th disciple of the sect leader. In the past, when I was jealous of Yan Xiangluo's beauty, I could suppress her with her cultivation level, but now her cultivation level is the same as hers. In front of Yan Xiangluo, her only advantage is that she has the support of her family. For more than a year now, although Yan Xiangluo didn't show up, her title as the number 1 fairy in the Xianhuan sect was still there, but she knew that she was no longer the one, so she was always on tenterhooks. Because she knew very well that as soon as Yan Xiangluo showed up, the title would have nothing to do with her. This feeling was even more obvious when I saw Yang Xiang lagging behind. After more than a year, the fragrance has grown high, the figure is even more sloppy, the appearance is better, and the cultivation is caught up. The sense of crisis in my heart is very strong. Yan Xiangluo ignored the 4 of them from beginning to end, not to mention Lu Yuexi, who had plotted against her when they first met. When she returned to Thousand Poison Peaks, she went directly back to her room, sat at the table and wrote down all the poisons in Baitang Yunyu. Then she carefully considered the relationship between the properties of the medicines and wrote them all down. She also thought about the antidote pills. Square. When Deng Chang's came back, she had already written and drawn on several pieces of paper, and she had only sorted out the fusion and repulsion relationships between a dozen poisons. Looking at the remaining dozen poisons, she picked up the paper and looking for the master. As soon as Deng Chang's returned to the room, his apprentice came with a few pieces of paper in his hand. He was thinking about the antidote to the detoxification pill when she came back. He looked at the young apprentice who was working hard and said with a smile, "How many kinds can you think of?" Yan Xiongluo sat down opposite master, put the paper on the table, frowned and said, "More than a dozen, master, see if it's right." Deng Chang's took the paper and looked at it. The difference between refining poison and refining elixir is that in refining elixir, ready-made elixir recipes are given to you, so you don't need to study the elixir recipe immediately. Refining poison is more difficult because the poison is different each time and requires research on the detoxification formula. Therefore, people who have a thorough understanding of poisons will naturally have high levels of alchemy. Dan has a thorough understanding of poisonous weeds, and it is not easy to research poisonous recipes. You can imagine how powerful Deng Chang's title of Poison King is. The more Deng Chang's read, the happier he became. Not only did his young apprentice write down all the poisons in Baitang Yunyu, but he also wrote them correctly. The dozen or so types he analyzed were all correct. You know, he used Baitang Yunyu's blood to analyze the type of poison he was poisoned with, but the young apprentice knew what kind of poison he was poisoned by feeling his pulse. It's amazing. Her future achievements will surely surpass her own, and even the title of Poison King is not worthy of her. Yes, everything is right, let's continue to think about the rest. Yan Xiongluo originally wanted to ask her master directly, but after listening to her master's words, she knew that she had to research the recipe for the detoxifying pill by herself. Thinking that the master had to refine the detoxification pill for Baitang Yunyu, but he hadn't finished researching the pill recipe yet, and he didn't have time to teach her, so he said nothing more and went back to the room with the paper to continue studying. Half a month passed, and Yan Xiongluo still hadn't studied the toxicity of the 5 poisons, so she heard her master calling her over to watch him refine the detoxification pill. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 103. Chapter 103 Goodbye Male Demon. Yan Xiongluo immediately ran to the room where her master was refining alchemy, and then stood quietly watching. Having been a disciple for more than a year, this was the first time she saw her master refining such a complex detoxification pill. She had not figured out the toxic relationship between the 5 poisons, but she could understand it after watching her master making elixirs. This is also the method that master always teaches her. He only lets her watch him refine it once when she really can't understand it. If she still doesn't understand it, she will have to ask her to speak on demand. Haven't played her on demand yet. Deng Chang's waved his hand, and dozens of medicinal materials were placed on the long table beside him. These are the medicinal materials that are in conflict with the poison in Baitang Yunyu, and are also the prescriptions for refining antidote pills. With another wave of his hand, an exquisite alchemy furnace appeared in front of him. A cluster of flames fell under the alchemy furnace, and the alchemy began. This flame is not Deng Chang's fire power, but the strange fire he contracted. Not everyone can boldly use his own fire power to make elixirs. Deng Chang's was envious of his young disciples for this. He no longer needed to contract a strange fire. It was not easy to find a suitable strange fire, and it was even more difficult to tame the strange fire through a contract. Failure to do so could lead to death. Xianxia first looked at the medicinal materials needed for the detoxification pill, which ones she had not thought of yet, and then watched her master attentively as he began to refine the pill. Deng Chang's began to put in the medicinal materials in an orderly manner, which was slower than ordinary alchemy. In fact, he had researched the elixir recipe a few days ago, but the Xuanhuan sect did not have one of the herbs. The sect leader spent a lot of effort to get it, and there was only one plant. Therefore, he had no room for failure and had to succeed at once. He must be cautious and cautious. As the speed slows down, Xianxia will have more time to think. Therefore, when Deng Chang's refined the antidote pill, she also understood the medicinal relationship between the 5 poisons, but it was a pity that there were no medicinal materials for her to try. The most precious medicinal ingredient is not so easy to obtain. This also shows the strength of Xuanhuan sect. Understood, Deng Chang's breathed a sigh of relief after the refining was successful. He did not rush to Xuanhuan Peak and first asked his young apprentice if he understood. Xianxia nodded, "I understand, but it's a pity that I can't try it." Deng Chang smiled, "This is the difference between refining elixirs and refining poison pills. The poison that needs to be detoxified by the poison pills is different every time. You need to figure out the detoxification pill recipe on the spot every time. You do not need to refine many detoxification pills at once, one is enough, so as long as you know how to do it, the important thing is the process of thinking. Every time is an opportunity for you to understand the toxicity. The more you think about it, the more you will become more familiar with it." Xianxia suddenly realized that in addition to some common poisons, the detoxification pills that alchemists can refine can be detoxified. Some rare poisons require specific detoxification pills to detoxify. The poisons that can be cured by Xuanhuan sect are not ordinary poisons, and they are different every time. No one else can use the detoxifying pill that detoxified by Tangyunyu. There are also very rare medicinal materials in it. There is really no need to refine one or a few more and waste it. Master, I understand. I will go back to sort out my thoughts and save the manuscript, Xianxia said seriously. Since learning alchemy from her master, every time she encounters a difficult elixir prescription, she will keep a manuscript of her research and contemplation process. If she also accepts a disciple in the future, this is also a method for disciples. No matter how stupid the apprentice is, he can understand it with her detailed analysis process. Deng Chang smiled happily, "Go, master, go and detoxify Yunyu." Xianxia returned to her room, wrote down the analysis of the 5 poisons that she had not yet fully understood, and then put the manuscript away. Over the past year, her manuscripts have been packed into 2 boxes. The master went to Xuanhuan Peak and did not come back until night. She was not worried that Bai Tangyunyu's poison could not be cured. It was precisely because the poison was cured that the master did not come back. They want to discuss how to give an explanation to the Hankai Empire and how to deal with Miao Changzhai. Over the past year or so, she also understood that the reason why her master still stayed at 1000 Poison Peaks was that he had not found an heir. The main reason was that Master Qinhe and his uncle were both living in seclusion, and he could only help his nephew to guard the house. Join the Immortal Cloud section unless there is a major matter involving the life and death of the sect. Master Qinhe and his uncle will not participate in the management of the sect. After dinner in the evening, Xianxia was ready to continue reading Ji Yin's Xuanhuan Kung Fu. After all, time was running out and she had to finish reading this Xuanhuan Kung Fu within a year. Just when she was looking at the Ji Yin Xian pattern technique attentively, she felt the aura fluctuating around her, and she put away the Ji Yin Xian pattern technique with the thought. It's not that she is too cautious, but this technique belongs to Ji Zhizhong, and it is the technique of the Ji family. She can't lose it because she won't be able to explain it clearly. Whoever believed that she could lose the technique in Thousand Poison Peak probably thought that she didn't want to return it to Jiji's Hong. Just as she was putting away Ji Yin, a man appeared in the room, wearing a black robe and his skin was sickly pale. It was him. Yan Xianglue was upset. The experience in Wanghai Forest was too fantasy. She had completely forgotten about the person she met before. No, it was a demon. I sighed in my heart, it's good to be strong. Look, for a large sect like Xuanhuan sect, people come as soon as they ask, and they haven't alarmed anyone yet. You must know that there are many elders with strong cultivation levels guarding the Xuanhuan sect in the dark. Thinking that he was not from this continent, I was not surprised, only envious. She calmly pointed to the futon opposite the table. Sit down. The man was not at all panicked or surprised by the sudden appearance of this little girl. He was a little curious. In such a low-level continent, which family raised such an outstanding little girl, it would be great if she came from their demon world. The man sat down opposite her. Yan Xianglue poured him a cup of tea, and then asked, "Have you found the prickly pear fruit?" She gave the man within half a year, but it was obvious that the man had to spend some time finding these medicinal materials, but it only took more than 3 months. Found it, I've also found all the other medicinal materials. The man found the medicinal materials according to the list given to him by Yan Xianglue. Although the other medicinal materials were expensive, they were still easy for him to find. Only the prickly pear fruit took some effort, but he got it. Just because his demon baby was injured and he didn't go back by himself, it took a lot of time, so it took more than 3 months to come. Yan Xianglue did not ask him to take out the medicinal materials first, but asked him to stretch out his wrist and feel his pulse again. After checking his physical condition, he said, "The physical condition is quite good. I will make the elixir right now. Please wait." Hearing this, the man took out all the medicinal materials and placed them on the table. "Look at it, are they all right?" Yan Xianglue glanced at the medicinal materials on the table and twitched the corner of her mouth. This person is really cautious. End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 104. Chapter 104 Recognizing a Brother, 1. Yan Xianglue quickly picked out a few medicinal materials and threw them into his arms. "You don't need these." Seeing her calmly throwing out the few rare medicinal herbs she had put in, the man's cold expression softened a little. He put it in on purpose, just to know what the little girl would do, but to his surprise, she threw it back to him without even thinking about it. Having personality, he likes it. "I'm not an alchemist. I don't need these. You can keep them for later. They are not available in this continent." The man threw the medicinal materials to her again. Yan Xianglue was not polite. Since the man had said so, wouldn't she be a fool if she didn't want it anymore? She neatly put away the medicinal materials. The man's mouth twitched when he saw her putting away the medicinal materials so happily. She felt that she was waiting for his words. "I didn't say anything." Yan Xianglue didn't go to the alchemy room to make the elixir either. The man in charge suspected what she was doing and decided to make the elixir in front of him. She stood up and walked to the middle of the room. As soon as she thought about it, the shabby alchemy furnace she had bought for 10 low-grade spiritual stones was suspended in front of her. It's not that she is too careful. Shuo is not an ordinary alchemy furnace. It is an alchemy furnace with spiritual consciousness and the ability to talk. It obviously knows a lot of things, but it is very arrogant. It is not the key, but he never talks to her. She didn't know much about this demon. If he knew what kind of treasure the stone nest was and took it away, she wouldn't be able to defeat him. Alas, in the final analysis, I am still too weak. This time when the man saw her alchemy furnace, not only the corner of his mouth twitched, but his whole face twitched. He was very capable, but why was the alchemy furnace so shabby? It seemed that the poverty she said last time was not fake, not ordinary poverty. He was a little confused. This girl's medical skills are so good and she can make elixirs. Why is she still so poor? He has never seen the alchemist who was poor. However, if she really wants to be able to detoxify herself, I should give her more spiritual stones, let her improve her living conditions, and at least buy an alchemy furnace that can match her alchemy skills. Yan Xianglou didn't know that her prudent behavior had gained some benefits for herself. At this time, she used her spiritual power to bring the medicinal materials that the man took out to her, and they were also suspended in front of her. At the same time, she took out other needed medicinal materials from Pangu space and also suspended them in front of her. Then the flames of fire power fell under the alchemy furnace, and the alchemy began. The man shrank when he looked at her flaming eyes. This little girl is amazing. She actually used her own fire power to make pills. How can she sustain it with such a weak cultivation? But judging from her familiar appearance, it seems that she often does this, so that's okay. This girl's talent is not ordinary. It's a pity that she was born on the lowest continent. If she were in his place, she would definitely grow up very well. Quick! Yan Xianglou was concentrating on refining the elixir, throwing in the herbs one after another at a very fast speed, which dazzled the man. He had also seen other people refining elixirs, and this was the first time he had seen someone refining elixirs so easily and quickly. Although he is not an alchemist, he also knows that every step of alchemy is difficult. No matter how he looks at it, he feels that this girl is just playing. Yan Xianglou quickly entered the purification stage. The man thought that her speed would be slower, but to his surprise, she was faster. When condensing the elixir at the end, the speed is slower, but it is only relatively compared to the previous two steps. When a pill with golden lines rose from the pill furnace, the man was stunned. Perfect quality elixir, although it was only the third grade, but its quality was beyond his expectation. She was able to refine elixirs of perfect quality. Such a genius actually appeared in such a low-level continent, which made him want to take her back. Yan Xianglou put away the flame and the elixir furnace, and delivered the elixir to the man with spiritual power. She said with some regret, "You can detoxify it by taking it. Unfortunately, I am only a third-grade alchemist. If the grade were higher, this elixir would have some great benefits." The man looked at her in surprise. What other benefits does the detoxification pill have? Seeing the man in a daze, Yan Xianglou thought he doubted her strength, and said, "I'm not exaggerating. Although this detoxification pill has no big benefits, there are still some small benefits. While detoxifying, it can remove the poison in your body. The hidden disease has been cleared." The man came back to his senses. This pill can not only cure the poison in himself, but also clear up the hidden disease. She still thinks this is just a small benefit. How strong is her alchemy talent? The man didn't say anything. Whether what she said was true, you will know if you try it. Anyway, you know your body very well. If you can't detoxify it, you will be useless. He took the elixir and put it in his mouth. The elixir entered his mouth and slid down. The man felt it carefully. The effect of the elixir is very mild, unlike the detoxification elixirs he had taken in the past, which were very aggressive in detoxifying. The body felt very comfortable. The seriously injured demon infant had already sat up. Then he became more and more energetic. Soon the demon infant returned to the state before the injury. He knew that the poison in his body had been detoxified. But the effect of the medicine had not stopped at this time, and it continued to warm and nourish his body. Sure enough, as Yan Xianglou said, the hidden diseases in his body were cured bit by bit, and all the bad breath was expelled from the body. It will not end until all the effects of the medicine are released. The man looked at Yu Xianglou and said with emotion, "You are amazing. That's right, Yan Xianglou said proudly. Her medical skills were great in her previous life, and her alchemy skills were great in this life. The combination can only make her even more powerful. She does not need to be modest about this. The man was pleased by her arrogant look and gave a rare smile. Since you are so powerful, I would be embarrassed if I didn't give you some reward. Yan Xiangluo's eyes lit up. There was also a reward. She thought that the formation disc was her reward. The light in her eyes was caught by the man. It turned out that he was greedy for money, and he thought of teasing her. Choose one of two rewards. The first one, let me sworn brothers and sisters with different surnames. The second one, I will give you 10,000 pieces. Spiritual stone. Yan Xiangluo didn't expect that the man would have such thoughts. He actually gave her two rewards to choose from. Her black eyes like a clear pool turned around and she chose the first one without hesitation. The man was surprised. She detoxified him, and she obviously knew that he was a demon. She didn't shy away from it and actually wanted to sworn brothers and sisters with him with a different surname. Doesn't she dislike him? I am the demon that those righteous people say they want to kill. Why choose the first one? The man asked. Yan Xiangluo rolled her eyes at him. If you choose the first one, the reward will be greater than the second one. You are my brother, so why don't you give me less? The man was speechless by her argument. Thinking of his identity, he asked, aren't you worried about being implicated by me? End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 105. Chapter 105 Recognize a Brother, 2. The little girl's talent is extremely good, and she has such abilities. It's only a matter of time before she goes to the higher continent. No matter where she is, she can do very well with her ability. If people know that she has a demon sworn brother, the situation will definitely not be too good. Is she really not worried that her identity will implicate her? After all, he is no ordinary demon. Or maybe she doesn't know much about demons and what kind of existence they are in the hearts of those monks. Implicated? What should I, a person with nothing, worry about? Besides, I never look at a person's status, I only look at the person himself and his eyesight. You are very pleasing to the eye. Don't pay everyone. No one can have it. How many people can do it, but if you do it, what will happen to the devil? Yan Xiangluo's words are true. If she really accepts the devil as her adopted brother for some reward, is she so greedy for money? The first thing is that she really thinks this person is friendly. Although he is a demon, he is much stronger than those people who claim to be righteous but do villainous things. Furthermore, this is a fantasy world. She knows that forming a brother and sister with different surnames requires making an oath, and breaking it will result in divine punishment, so she is not worried about what the man will do to her. Furthermore, her soul is not from here, and the distinction between humans and demons is not based on what the other person cultivates, but on their character. In her heart, some people are devils and demons. The man originally thought that she would choose the second condition, but he didn't expect that she would choose the first one without hesitation. He really didn't expect that she would have more than one sister. Why, if you just tell me, I can choose the second one, Yan Xiangluo continued when she saw the man didn't respond. The identity of this person who didn't know in the magic world was in trouble with his injuries. If he really worshipped him, it was equivalent to more trouble. If he didn't want, she would not be reluctant. It's just a pity that there are few people who like it. No, it's a devil. The man laughed loudly when he heard this. I, Tianjun, am a person who breaks my word. I can't be better off as a little girl. Okay, I recognize you as my sister. Come, let's sworn friends. The man stood up and came to her, kneeling down first, followed by Yan Xiangluo. The man saluted upward and said, Today, I, Tianjun, and Turning his head to look at Yan Xiangluo, he still didn't know the name of the sister. Luo, the next to the female character, the fragrance of the fragrance, the Luo of the Luo. Yan Xiangluo immediately said her name in great detail. Ge Tianjun continued, today, I, Ge Tianjun, and you and Xiangluo have become brothers and sisters with different surnames. As evidence from heaven, we have made an oath to share blessings and share hardships. We will never betray or hurt each other in this life. If we violate our oath, heaven and earth will kill him and his soul will be destroyed. Yan Xiangluo also followed Ge Tianjun's words and saluted upward, today, I, Yan Xiangluo, and Ge Tianjun have become brothers and sisters with different surnames. After finishing speaking, the two people kowtowed 3 times in unison, and a red light enveloped the two people. This was the binding force of the oath. Even if Ge Tianjun was a demon, he could not violate the rules of heaven and earth. When the two stood up and looked at each other, their moods were different. The cold aura on Ge Tianjun's body obviously calmed down. He took out a gift ring and handed it to Yan Xiangluo, here, this is the pocket money I gave you. I'll give it to you after you spend it. When Ruan Xiangluo took a look inside the ring, she thought, oh my god, there are so many spiritual stones. She looked up at Ge Tianjun and said, brother, do you have a vein of spiritual stones in your home? Ge Tianjun was amused by her exaggerated expression. Well, yes, there is more than one. Yan Xiangluo immediately breathed a sigh of relief, then I'll feel comfortable taking it. This gift ring contains not 10,000 spiritual stones, but 100,000, and they are all high-grade spiritual stones. She has really made a profit for such an arrogant brother. The reward given to her when she was admitted to the Qingyun sect royal family was 1,000 high-grade spiritual stones. The direct disciples of Xianyun sect are only given 10 high-grade spiritual stones every month, and a total of only 120 high-grade spiritual stones a year. She is already extremely enviable for possessing these spiritual stones. If people knew that she had a brother who could acquire 100,000 high-grade spiritual stones in one move, it would not be envy, but jealousy. When I get back, I will get you a high-grade alchemy furnace. Throw it away and don't keep it, it's too shabby, Ge Tianjun said, thinking of her shabby alchemy furnace. Yan Xiangluo said sheepishly, brother, no need, I have a good alchemy furnace. The one I used today was bought for 10 low-grade spiritual stones when I made my first elixir. Ge Tianjun immediately understood what she meant, you're not old, but you're very clever. Yes, you must be on guard against others. Ge Tianjun doesn't think there's anything wrong with her doing this. There are no very trustworthy people in this world. It's good for the little girl to be more discerning. That's right, otherwise your sister and I would be able to live until now. Yan Xiangluo was telling the truth. Both she and the original owner were very defensive, and it was not easy for them to live. As soon as she finished speaking, she started rummaging through her gift ring. Her adopted brother was so generous, and she, as a younger sister, couldn't rummage through it. Find a lot of medicine bottles and put them on the table. Then he took out a pen and marked each medicine bottle with the name of the medicine and what it cured. It took a while to finish marking. Brother, these are for you, because you are a demon. The other elixirs I refined are of no use to you. These are all you can use. Brother, feel free to use them. Although they are only third-grade elixirs, the elixirs refined by your sister are of no use to you. But they are all of perfect quality and have good effects. When my alchemy level reaches another level, I will refine some elixirs suitable for you. Yu Xiangluo pushed the medicine bottles to Ge Tianjun. Ge Tianjun looked at a lot of pills, his eyes were a little hot, he recognized the sister, and she hadn't been cared about by anyone in many years. He put the elixir away politely. Although Yan Xiangluo's elixir was not of high grade, it was easy to use. Didn't he experience it personally? There is no need to rush to refine elixirs for me. The level of the mainland is too low. As soon as my cultivation level recovers, I will be sent back by the rules of heaven and earth. If I think about it again, unless I get such a serious injury again. When you can go to the higher continent, make alchemy for me again. Then your alchemy level will be higher, and you will have bragging rights. As he spoke, Tianjun raised the corners of his mouth, obviously thinking about how good he felt when he was bragging. Yan Xianglou didn't expect that there were such restrictions in the rules of heaven and earth. Didn't the fantasy books she read always say that as long as you suppress your cultivation level, you can stay in the lower continent? It seems that things are not static. Oh well. Tianjun had already noticed the repulsion of the power of the rules of heaven, and said quickly, "Sister, I'm leaving. You can take this. When you go to the higher continent, just input your spiritual power into it, and I will know that you are coming, and I know your location and will take you to my brother's place when the time comes." End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 106. Chapter 106. Don't want it? Okay. Yan Xianglou took a black jade plaque given to her by Tianjun, with a magic word engraved on it. Tianjun didn't say that this jade metal contained the power of his strongest blow. It was originally used for self-defense, but now he gave it to her to protect her once in her life. The sister he met today is very dear to his heart. He hopes that she can go to the higher continent as soon as possible. As soon as Yan Xianglou finished speaking, she saw Tianjun disappear. After being stunned for a while, Yan Xianglou put away the black jade token Tianjun gave her, then took out Jiyan and continued to read. Although the recognition of Tianjun as her brother was a bit sudden and hasty, he was very much to her liking. She could feel that Tianjun was a very principled person at heart, and he would definitely do what he promised. Even though the reason for becoming sworn siblings with different surnames is recognition of her medical skills and alchemy skills, there are restrictions on how people interact with each other. Would you want to associate with a weak person who can't do anything for no reason? She also has a principle in her heart, that is, she has decided to treat each other sincerely. Mutual benefit is the way for people to get along. No relationship can be maintained by one-sided effort. Tianjun's coming and going did not alarm anyone. Even when Deng Chang's came back, he found no trace of demons coming to Qiandu Peak. It can be seen how strong Tianjun is. Yan Xianglou knew this very well, and it became the motivation to spur her to practice harder. She wanted to go to the higher world as soon as possible to see what Tianjun lived like. When Deng Chang's came back, he saw that her room was still lit. He knew that she had not rested yet. He had become accustomed to it. It can be said that the young apprentice did this every day, studying and practicing all night long. He never stopped him. In fact, practicing all night is much better than sleeping all night. This is something that all monks know, but few can persist in this way. His little apprentice never seemed to have used her bed before coming to 1,000 Poison Peaks. Therefore, when others asked why her cultivation level increased so fast, he told them that she had never slept in her bed. Anyone who asked him, no one will ask any more. After watching Ban Sujiyan, she did not continue reading. Reading too much was of no benefit, it consumed too much mental energy, and she could not absorb so much knowledge. She got up and went to the practice room built by her master to practice the 9-turn true essence art. When dawn was about to break, she began to practice the Changling spear technique. She danced a Changling spear with steel in its flexibility and strength in the steel bars. Mixed with flexibility, it feels like the man and the gun have become one. The handyman disciples who got up in the morning to prepare for cooking heard the movement in the training room and all looked at each other. Master Uncle Yu started practicing Changling spear again after he came out of seclusion. He got up earlier than them. It was really an extraordinary effort. They didn't know that she didn't have a single night's rest. Hearing the sound of the handyman disciples cooking, Xianxia stopped and was about to make breakfast, but the master happened to be there. When the master and apprentice sat down to have breakfast, she asked, "Master, how did Yunyu's matter be resolved?" Deng Chang said, "It hasn't been finalized yet. Last night, Yunyu received a letter from his brother Yunfan Baitang, the prince of Hankai Kingdom. He wants to visit Yunyu. When he arrives, he will tell him the details. Let's talk and see what Baitang Yunfan says before deciding." "Baitang Yunfan is coming? When will Baitang Yunfan come?" Yan Xiangloo asked. "Today." Yu Xiang stopped. "He couldn't have come here for the sake of saving him. But I didn't think too much about it. Miao Nagano is very talented, but he doesn't follow the right path. He should be taught some lessons, but I'm afraid the price he has to pay will not be small this time, and he may not be able to stay in Xianyun sect anymore." After breakfast, Yan Xiangloo didn't take this matter to heart and went back to her room to make elixirs. At noon, Baitang Yunyu's voice came from outside the door, "Uncle Yu, I'm here to eat." Yan Xiangloo happened to be reading Shiyulu, and heard Baitang Yunyu's voice, which was a little tempting. "Isn't his brother coming today? How come he still has time to come to his place to have a meal? Could it be that his brother hasn't arrived yet?" Putting away the books and records, he opened the door and saw a man standing next to Baitang Yunyu. It was Baitang Yunfan. When the door opened, Baitang Yunfan saw a slim girl with a world-famous appearance wearing a fiery red dress and a white Xianyun zone uniform, walking out. The slim figure and the calm temperament all surprised him. "She is much better than Lu Yuexi, the first fairy of Xianyun section. She should be the first fairy of Xianyun sect." "Uncle Yu, I heard what my brother said. Thank you very much, Uncle Yu, for saving my brother. Both of us brothers have received such great kindness from Uncle Yu, and we don't know how to repay each other." To be honest, what Baitang Yunyu said was that he felt that he could not repay his own kindness. Adding on to his brothers, this kind of kindness was indeed not something that could be repaid easily. As soon as his brother said it today, he knew that this person was Ruan Xiangloo. Among the people in the Xianyun sect who could save him just because he knew it was his brother without any entrustment from him, Ruan Xiangloo was the only one. And only she can refine the magic elixir to such a strong effect. "Didn't I say I could just get more ingredients?" Yan Xiangloo didn't expect Baitang Yunfan to come to Qiandu Peak. Baitang Yunfan was actually shocked. The girl in front of him was only at the 7th level of the spiritual level. He didn't sense her existence at the time. Could it be that she used a mysterious pattern to hide her aura? Otherwise, he really couldn't explain why he couldn't sense her existence. He still knew something about Yan Xiangloo. After all, she had been known as Jija Kong's unmarried wife for several years. He also knew very well that she was framed and got the Qingyun sect's entrance token as a blessing in disguise, but she used it to break off the relationship with the Yu family and break off her engagement with Jija's Hong. At that time, I admired her very much. Although her cultivation was poor, her character was very strong. It's just that the Yan Xiangloo in front of him is very different from the rumored her. If his brother hadn't told him clearly that she was the former fiancée of Jija's Hong, the regent of the Tianshan Empire, he would never have believed it. "I won't thank you enough for your kindness. If there is anything that I, Baitang Yunfan, can do in the future for Miss Yu, just say it. As long as it does not involve the interests of the Hankai Empire, I will do my best to help you complete it." Baitang Yunfan he spoke. Yan Xiangloo didn't need Baitang Yunfan's promise. "I saved you just because you are Yun Yu's brother. You don't need to do this. This is between me and Yun Yu." Her words were very obvious, that is, you don't need to feel that you owe me anything. I saved you not for your sake, but because you are Yun Yu's brother. The friendship between Yun Yu and I does not require such a heavy commitment. Baitang Yunfan was surprised that she didn't want Prince Ji's promise. End of this chapter. The fragrance falls ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 107. Chapter 107 Being Your Wife. Now he believes that the girl in front of him is the useless girl with 5 spiritual roots, Ruanxiangluo, who took the initiative to cancel Jizhong's big marriage. After all, even Jizhong doesn't like her, so it's normal for her to look down on her own promise. This is the first time he has encountered a girl with such a personality. Not any woman can voluntarily give up her position as regent. After all, Jizhong was the favorite husband of all the women to be married in the Tianxia Empire. Not only did she do it, but she did it so neatly that he couldn't help but look at her differently. It was only when he came today that he found out that Yan Xiangluo had given up on the Qingyun sect and actually came to the Immortal Cloud sect, and became a disciple of the Poison King Deng Chang's, becoming the only direct disciple of Qian Poison Peak and the only disciple who learned to refine poison descendants. It seemed that she had carefully considered everything from breaking off the engagement to completely severing ties with the concubine family. She had no intention of going to the Qingyun sect at all. Yan Xiangluo was not what she was rumored to be at all. At least he felt that the girl in front of him had special ideas. She knew exactly what she should do and what she should do. She did not hesitate when she should give up, and she did not hesitate when she should take action. Don't be timid, just like when you saved yourself. Thinking about it now, she should have heard the other party calling his name and knew that she was Yunyu's brother, so she took action. Otherwise, she would have passed by quietly without making any stop. Such a woman already has her own principles of dealing with things. There is no need for him to insist on repaying her kindness. He can just help her if necessary in the future. Bai Tang Yunfan smiled and did not insist on his promise anymore. I heard from Yunyu that Miss Yu's cooking skills are very good. I wonder if I am so lucky that I can have a meal today. Yan Xiangluo was speechless after hearing his words, and rolled her eyes silently in her heart. You came here so shamelessly, and you spoke so shamelessly. In addition, Xianyuan sect wanted to fight with the Hankai Empire because of Miao Changai's matter. Negotiation, can you refuse? No matter what, I couldn't let him leave Thousand Poison Peak in a bad mood. The ingredients are all brought by Yunyu, as long as he allows it. She also agreed in disguise. Then I'm in luck. Bai Tang Yunfan's smile became even brighter, not caring about the perfunctory tone in Yan Xiangluo's tone. Bai Tang Yunyu hurriedly said, Uncle Master, I'll clean it up. You can just take the spoon later. Since the first time he had a meal, Bai Tang Yunyu has developed from a prince of a country who had no idea what the kitchen looked like to being familiar with washing and cutting, and making all preparations. His progress is extraordinary. Bai Tang Yunfan was surprised to see his younger brother doing the kitchen work so neatly and skillfully. Looking at Yan Xiangluo, he saw that she still had an indifferent and casual expression, and he felt that he had discovered another principle of her dealings. She will not have any special attitude towards you because of your high status, or there is no such thing as high or low status in her heart. Her attitude towards you depends entirely on your attitude towards her. At first glance, Yunyu did not regard herself as a noble prince in front of her, but treated him as a friend on an equal footing. This was why she was recognized by Yu Xiangluo. If Yunyu came as a prince from the beginning, I'm afraid Yunyu wouldn't be able to enjoy a single meal of the food she cooked, and she wouldn't be able to borrow her brother's help and be rescued by her in Wanghai Forest. Yan Xiangluo went back to the room and changed into a pair of neat clothes, still bright red, and then entered the kitchen. Bai Tang Yunyu washed and cut the rice very quickly, and Yan Xiangluo washed the pot and cooked the rice. Then he looked at the dishes Bai Tang Yunyu brought, thought about how to cook them, and then started cooking. The two of them were busy in the kitchen. Bai Tang Yunfan stood outside the kitchen door and watched. He had a feeling in his heart that it felt like a young couple busy cooking together. Thinking about Yan Xiangluo's age, he is only 14 years old this year. His younger brother entered the Xuanhuan sect when he was 13 and is 16 years old this year. The two of them are indeed of the right age. As for identity, my father would be very happy to see it happen. The last thing he wanted was for the two brothers to marry a wife with a strong family background. This matter can be considered. It would be good if Xianxia became his sister-in-law. The queen mother would also like a woman like her. After all, her life is what her mother once longed for but could not get. Xianxia doesn't know BeautifulFemaleLead's inner calculations. If she knew, she would just give him a blank look. How can you really worry about it? The Hankai Empire is not worried enough for you, and you are still meddling in her business. When the rice is ready, the dishes are also ready. BeautifulFemaleLead skillfully laid out the dishes, put the rice out and arranged it, and then fetched water for Xianxia to wash her hands. Everything was done so naturally and smoothly. BeautifulFemaleLead's mouth twitched when he saw it. If Xianxia really became his sister-in-law, this would probably be a reflection of his younger brother's future life. However, it looked very fireworks, something he longed for but could not get. His origin is destined, and he has no connection with these fireworks. However, he can try to protect his younger brother to live however he wants. Brother, come in and eat. BeautifulFemaleLead waved to her brother who was standing outside the kitchen after Xianxia washed her hands. BeautifulFemaleLead ate in the kitchen for the first time since he was born. There was a first time for everything, so he didn't worry about it. He walked in and sat down at the table. Xianxia said, I don't have any rules here. You can eat whatever you are used to. BeautifulFemaleLead nodded, okay. He finally saw that not only did she have no rules here, but she also had no rules in her heart. She is not a person who likes to be bound by rules. The more she thinks about it, the more suitable she is with her brother. However, he didn't think much about it at this time. The aroma of the food made him, who had never had any requirements for food, unable to bear it. After taking a bite of the food, I realized why my younger brother came so diligently to eat. The food was even more delicious than what the royal chefs of the Hankai Empire cooked. It was so delicious that he was full for the first time in his life. From the beginning to the end, Xianxia never asked BeautifulFemaleLead how he was poisoned, nor how he dealt with Miao Changji. Until they left, Xianxia just said two words no indifferently. Back at Xuanhuan sect, BeautifulFemaleLead said to his younger brother, Yunyu, what do you think of Xianxia? Uncle Yu is a very good person, a good talent, and good at cooking, BeautifulFemaleLead said happily. How about being your daughter-in-law? BeautifulFemaleLead was startled by his brother's words, and quickly explained, Brother, are you kidding? Don't say this again. Let's not mention that our sect has regulations that do not allow master-disciple love, but there is no such thing. Rules, Master Jun is not someone I can match, but I still know this. End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 108. Chapter 108 You have grown up. After a pause, BeautifulFemaleLead continued, this is also the main reason why I can get along so well with Master Jun. It's because I only treat her as a master and a friend, but not as a woman I admire. I don't see her as a woman I admire. I don't know what kind of man can be worthy of her. Xianxia's progress is too fast, and others don't know it. He comes here often, and he knows the speed of Xianxia's promotion very well. Not only her cultivation, but what frightened him the most was Xianxia's talent for alchemy. She only started learning alchemy when she entered the section just over a year ago. She is already a third-grade alchemist. You must know that he is now a fourth-level alchemist, but it took him 3 years to become a third-level alchemist. It took him a full year to break through to the fourth-level alchemy master. Don't think about the time it will take to reach the next level. Many. But he knew that Xianxia would soon become a fourth-grade alchemist. Is he worthy of such a person? The answer is yes, so he has never had any illusions about Yan Xiangluo. They get along well as both teachers and friends. You have to know that whether he can break through to the 4th level alchemy master is the result of her guidance. Can you imagine that a 3rd level alchemist would instruct another 3rd level alchemist to become a 4th level alchemist? What does this mean? She can become a 4th grade alchemist at any time if she wants. Bai Tang Yunfan's eyes paused. He had forgotten the rules of the Xianhuan section. Looking at his younger brother, he really didn't have any romantic feelings for Yan Xiangluo. Moreover, his younger brother seems to admire Yan Xiangluo very much. Based on this alone, he knows that there is no chance of wanting Yan Xiangluo to be his sister-in-law. Bai Tang Yunfan sighed, "Yunyu, you have grown up. My younger brother has always been very sensible and never caused him any trouble. In just 3 years, he has grown to such a height that he even ignores him." Bai Tang Yunyu clearly knows what he should do and what he should not do, and he can also control his emotions and feelings well. It's hard not to like a girl like Yan Xiangluo. Most of the people who don't like her do it out of envy. But liking and loving are two different things. He feels that there is no man in the world who is qualified to stand by her side. Yu Xiangluo may have to go to a higher world if she wants to find a husband. What do you think about Miao Changjai? Bai Tang Yunfan changed the subject and asked. Bai Tang Yunyu's expression darkened. I don't know why Miao Nagano is so hostile to me. I have never done anything bad to him, and because he is the youngest junior among us, I take special care of him. I didn't expect that he actually hated me so much that he wanted to kill me. Just let me know. My identity means that I can't handle this matter as I wish. Even if he doesn't like us, he won't ignore the Hankai Empire. Face saving. Bai Tang Yunfan naturally knew who his younger brother said he didn't like them. Don't worry, even if he doesn't vent his anger on you, I will find an opportunity to vent his anger on you. Our brothers are so easy to bully. Xianhuan sect has a very upright attitude. Besides, it has also tried its best to treat its younger brother. His younger brother is fine now. After Yuan Xiangluo saved him, he has no resentment towards Xianhuan sect. But Miao Nagano, the chief culprit who harmed his younger brother, he will never let go. If what his father does cannot satisfy him, he will take action himself to let Miao Nagano get the retribution he deserves. Brother doesn't have to do anything. Even if my father doesn't ask for it this time, the sect will not take it lightly. The sect can't keep him anymore. If he attacks me again in the future, I won't. You're welcome. I'm no longer the kid who needed my brother's protection for everything. In an instant, Bai Tang Yunyu burst out with an aura that Bai Tang Yunfan had never seen in his younger brother. At this time, he truly realized that his brother had grown up, even though he was only 16 years old. You have to be careful about Miao Yu, after all, she is Miao Changjai's biological aunt. Bai Tang Yunfan reminded his younger brother. As long as Miao Yu still thinks about the peak master of Tianshui Peak, she won't dare to do anything to me. I don't know how long I can stay in the sect, but I will leave sooner or later, but she will stay for a lifetime. She doesn't dare to fight. Take revenge on me. Bai Tang Yunyu raised the corner of his lips. Although he didn't pay attention to some things in the sect and he didn't get close to anyone except Yan Xiangluo, it didn't mean that he didn't know the news in the sect. Although Miao Yu is the only female disciple of the master, both the master and the master are very dissatisfied with her. Moreover, Miao Yu's alchemy talent will only reach the level of a 5th grade alchemist in this life. It is difficult to break through. Although his cultivation level can still be advanced, there will be no major development, so Miao Yu will not be able to leave the immortal world in this life. Yunzong. She would not be able to achieve her current status no matter where she went after leaving Xianhuan sect. She knows this better than anyone else. You have to be careful. If you don't face him head on, you will be hard to guard against if you don't have some dirty tricks. Bai Tang Yunfan reminded his younger brother. Bai Tang Yunyu nodded and said, Don't worry, brother, I will be careful. Master knows Miao Yu very well and will also guard against her. They have grown up in the palace and have seen too many dirty tricks to be so naive. Well, I'm going back to Hankai now. Bai Tang Yunfan didn't stay long. He originally wanted to come to see his younger brother and meet his benefactor, but he didn't plan to spend the night at Xianhuan section. Now that Miao Chengjai had framed his younger brother, he couldn't stay any longer. He wanted to go back as soon as possible and report to his father. Emperor, let's see what he does. Okay, I'll send my brother out. Bai Tang Yunyu has been in Xianhuan sect for 3 years. Except for the first year when his brother sent him to participate in the competition, this is the first time he comes to visit him, and he is very happy. The two brothers went to say goodbye to their sect master, and then Bai Tang Yunyu sent Bai Tang Yunfan out. On the way, Bai Tang Yunyu asked about their mother's situation. Bai Tang Yunfan narrowed his eyes and said, "It's still the same as before. How good can we live in the gap between the royal family and the mother clan? Unless I ascend the throne and become the emperor, my mother will never have to look at anyone's face again." Bai Tang Yunyu thought of Xiangluo. It would be great if her mother could live as freely as she did. Sigh, he just thought about it. There is only one concubine in the world, and that woman can live as clear and unrestrained as her at her age. After sending Bai Tang Yunfan away, Bai Tang Yunyu went back to practice in seclusion. As for how Miao Nagano dealt with it, he didn't care anymore. After this incident happened, he understood that nothing was as important as becoming stronger as quickly as possible. If he becomes a powerful person in the mainland, no one will dare to attack him easily, and no one will dare to embarrass his mother, and the mother will not need to look at anyone's face. Yan Xiangluo didn't know that Bai Tang Yunfan had gone down the mountain after leaving her. She still practiced and studied methodically according to the plan every day. A few days later, she heard from her master that the emperor of the Hankai Empire agreed to end the matter according to the punishment given by the Xianhuan sect. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 109. Chapter 109 Punishing Nagano, 1. Yan Xiangluo blinked and asked, "Master, how does our sect decide to punish Miao Nagano?" Emperor Hankai no longer wants to see Bai Tang Yunyu, he is still his son. He can bully him, but others cannot. This is not a problem that he does not care about, but a problem with the Hankai Empire's face. Since the Hankai Empire agrees with the punishment given by the Xianhuan sect, it means that the result of the discussion between Master and the others is not light for Miao Chengjai and satisfies Emperor Hankai. Tell the world what he has done and expel him from the section. He will never be able to claim to be a disciple of the Xianhuan section before leaving. He will have to bear the punishment of 108 lashes from the punishment hall, Deng Chang said with a gloomy look in his eyes. Although such a decision calmed the anger of the Emperor Hankai Empire, it also brought disrepute to the Xianhuan sect. Yan Xiangluo had obviously thought of this. Seeing that the master was a little sad, she comforted him, "Master, this is good. Although it damages the reputation of the sect, it also allows the world to see that our Xianhuan sect is upright and honest. We will not favor any disciple with questionable moral character, even if he is a direct disciple of the sect master. If you want to send your child to study in a sect, would you choose such a sect as your first choice?" Deng Chang smiled and said, "Xiao Luo'er's idea is unique. Thinking about it this way, I feel much better. Yeah, when the next time the sect recruits disciples, a moral check will be added." "Master, let's see, there will definitely be more people coming." Yu Xiangluo looked sure that this would be the case, which amused Deng Chang's. "Prince Hankai and the Prime Minister have arrived tonight and will personally oversee the execution tomorrow. Then the entire sect disciples will go." Although he knew that the young apprentice was trying to comfort him, the method and reason he used did soothe his depressed mood. The tone is much more relaxed. He wanted to go and comfort his master, brother, and nephew as soon as possible. Looking at the master who was leaving again, Yan Xianglou shrugged and went back to the room to continue looking at Ji Yin. Early the next morning, almost 3 months after their training, the disciples of the Xuanhuan sect gathered together again. Both the inner disciples, the outer disciples and even the handyman disciples all participated. It was in the square where they originally ran for election as inner disciples. Yu Xiangluo's direct disciples stood at the front, followed by the inner disciples, then the outer disciples, and finally the handyman disciples. Yan Xiangluo stood on the far left in the first row. Next to her was Zhang Qinghao, the eldest disciple of the sect leader. Just because her seniority is higher than that of Zhang Qinghao and the others, she is the only junior master among the disciples present, so she takes this position. Hence, she could see the people standing at the entrance of the main hall clearly. In addition to the sect leader and several major peak masters, Bai Tang Yunfen was also seen. Standing next to him was an elegant middle-aged man, who should be the prime minister of the Hankai Empire. "Bring Miao Nagano up," the sect leader said. His feelings are only known to himself. He accepted Miao Nagano as a disciple, as a close disciple, and had high hopes for him. He hoped that he could become another genius disciple of Xuanhuan sect like Bai Tang Yunyu. After all, Bai Tang Yunyu's status as a prince meant that no matter how outstanding he was, he could not inherit the position of the head of the Xuanhuan section. No one knew that he was planning to train Miao Nagano as his successor. What Miao Nagano did had a great impact on him. Although the temperament of his disciples was developed at home since childhood, he also had the responsibility to teach after becoming his disciple. "I feel regretful that a genius has died like this. Proclamation to the world will ruin Miao Changjai's future path. Which sect will still accept him? Even his family might give up on him." Yan Xiangluo looked at Miao Nagano, who was brought up from the left. He had been in Huishan Pass for nearly 3 months. His complexion had not changed much. If there was any change, it should be better than before. Yan Xiangluo was puzzled. Didn't he feel guilty or worried at all for doing such a thing? Out of curiosity, when Miao Nagano approached her, she used her mind-reading skills to know what he was thinking at this time. "Bai Tang Yunyu must be dead. After he dies, I will be the #1 genius of Xuanhuan section. Master will definitely help me exonerate myself. I will be the leader of Xuanhuan sect in the future. No one can block my way anymore." At this time, Miao Changjai saw that Yan Xiang had fallen, and his eyes flashed with surprise. "I haven't seen her for more than a year, and she actually looks better. She can only be mine." Yan Xiangluo was speechless when he heard Miao Changjai's thoughts. Who gave him the confidence? It was both the Xuanhuan sect and himself. Why was his face so big? What does the way of heaven mean? How can such a person become the son of destiny? Is letting him live again just for fun? Bai Tang Yunyu? How is it possible? How is it possible that he is still alive? It seems like nothing happened. When Miao Nagano saw Bai Tang Yunyu, his heart suddenly changed, even with a hint of fear and uncertainty. The person who brought him up pushed him, and he regained consciousness and continued to walk forward. How is it possible? How is it possible? It's impossible to be alive after being poisoned. I took such a big risk. Not only did I not get his chance, but I also let him come back alive. What should I do? Xianxia only heard these, and the distance was far away. Her mind reading was not good. However, she can be sure that Miao Nagano did not get any news when he was in confinement, otherwise he would not be so surprised, nor would he think so. It seems that even Miao Yu can't reach into the back mountain of Xuanhuan sect, otherwise she would have sent a message to Miao Changjai. She looked at Miao Yu, and sure enough, she saw Miao Yu looking at her nephew with an expression of reluctance and distress, no matter how forbearing it was. Miao Nagano was taken to the stone steps of the main hall. Looking at Baitangyunfen standing above, he felt even more panicked. This was the first time he saw Baitangyunfen in this life, but he had seen him many times in the previous life. Although he could only look up at him, he still knew him. This man is cruel and ruthless, but he is very good to his mother and brother Baitangyunyu. He is here, and Baitangyunyu is not dead. Things should be serious, and I am afraid there will be no good results. He looked at his aunt and saw that his aunt shook her head gently. What do you mean? Didn't her aunt plead for him? Looking at his master again, he looked at him with a disappointed look on his face. What does this mean? Are they all going to give up on themselves? Without waiting for him to be confused and frightened, he heard that master announced the guilt he committed, and finally talked about his punishment. 108 lashes. Declare the world? Expelled from the sect? Miao Nagano was suddenly confused. Did God let him live another life just to make him end up worse than the previous life? Expelling him from his school and announcing to the world is equivalent to pronouncing a sentence, and he will never get ahead in life. End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 110. Chapter 110 Punishing Nagano, 2. Miao Nagano immediately knelt down and kowtowed desperately, Master, I will accept the punishment of 108 lashes. No matter how severe the punishment is, I can accept it. I just ask Master not to expel me from the Master. I beg Master. Miao Chenzi knew clearly that the Master had already found out the matter, and someone from the Hankai Empire came again. It was useless to argue now. He could only ask his master to be soft-hearted and help him, and let the people of the Hankai Empire let him go. This was his only chance. Way to survive. Looking at this disciple whom he had placed so much hope on, the sect master also felt very uncomfortable. It would be false to say that he was not soft-hearted at all, but he knew that he could not be soft-hearted. Nagano, why did you take action against Yunyu? He is your senior brother, and he will be your brother for life in the future. In fact, the sect leader really didn't understand Miao Nagano's motives. Any disciple who came to the sect, especially the disciples of the Seven Peak Masters, even if they didn't want to stay in the sect, they would try their best to make friends with each other as a backing for themselves in the future. With help, why did he frame his senior brother? As far as he knew, Yunyu also took good care of Miao Nagano, his junior brother. Miao Nagano couldn't care less and could only say truthfully, Master, I am jealous of sixth brother's talent. I want to become Master's most proud disciple. The sect leader was very surprised when he heard this. He never expected such a reason. He thought Miao Chenji had some grudge against Yunyu before he joined the sect. Nagano, do you know that my master has been training you to be the next heir from the moment he accepted you as his disciple? Among the master's disciples, although you are not as talented as Yunyu, you are still stronger than the other senior brothers. Yunyu's talent is destined to lead a bright future, and he will not stay in the section master only focused on your talent and ignored your state of mind and character. It's my fault that you are so narrow-minded. The sect master was heartbroken. Only he knew how much effort he had put into Miao Nagano for more than a year. Junior Master Uncle is right, talent is not the first priority when selecting a disciple, character is the first priority. Otherwise, if a person with bad character is given great ability, he will become a great person with great ability. The wicked. Miao Nagano was stunned when he heard this. He had never known that Master had placed such great hopes on him. Thinking again about Baitangyunyu's previous life, Baitangyunyu left the Xianxia sect 3 years later, and he suddenly realized that Baitangyunyu had never thought of staying in the Xianxia sect, and he could not become an immortal as the prince of a country. The leader of the Yun sect. It was at this time that he truly regretted it. He had been affected by his previous life, and his focus had been on Bai Tangyunyu's talent and future strength, ruining a good game of chess. If he had used his prophetic ability to make friends with Bai Tangyunyu after his rebirth, the outcome of the matter would have been completely different. Nagano, from today on, we are no longer masters and disciples. I hope you will not go astray again after leaving C9 section. Although the sect leader was very sad, he still made his decision. He stopped looking at him after he finished speaking. He couldn't bear to look at him any longer. He waved his hand and said, "Execution." Miao Qiangjai was immediately held down and tied to a bench. The people from the punishment hall came over with long whips and whipped Miao Qiangjai one after another. Comparable to the despair in my heart. He knew that his master would not help him, that he would not help him, and that his aunt could not speak. His fate was already doomed. Miao Yu clenched her hands tightly as she watched. 108 lashes, the people in the punishment hall will never show mercy. The prince and prime minister of the Hankai Empire were watching, and they couldn't show any mercy. She could only watch her nephew suffer the whipping. She looked at Bai Tangyunyu and saw that he looked indifferent, as if the matter in front of her had nothing to do with him. She hated him so much that she would never let Bai Tangyunyu have an easy time. He didn't feel at all that this was his nephew's own consequences. However, she also knew that she could not do anything on the surface, and nothing could happen to Bai Tangyunyu in a short period of time, otherwise they would all be suspicious of her. It doesn't matter, as long as she is still in Xianxia sect, there will always be a chance. All the disciples were afraid to show their anger and watched Miao Nagano being whipped. They thought about their words and deeds in their hearts, and warned themselves not to do anything that violates morality and sect rules in the future. After all, it is your reputation that will be ruined for the rest of your life. After the 108 whips were applied, Miao Qiangjai had already passed out. With a wave of his hand from the sect leader, Miao Qiangjai was taken off the bench and then carried out of the mountain gate. Miao Yu immediately winked at the person behind him, and a woman behind him quietly stepped back and headed towards the mountain gate. The suzerain then issued a suzerain order, informing the world about Miao Qiangjai and announcing his punishment. Bai Tangyunfan and Prime Minister Han Qi didn't say anything. They saw that Xianxia sect did what they said before and left. However, before Bai Tangyunfan left, he took a deep look at Miao Yu. Miao Yu shuddered at this sight. How could she forget how ruthless Bai Tangyunfan was? Would he just let Nagano go? Someone must be sent to secretly protect the Nagano family. If she really takes action against Bai Tangyunyu, she must do it in a foolproof way and not implicate herself. Otherwise, she will not be able to bear the revenge of Bai Tangyunfan. The sect master asked the masters of Tianhong Peak and Xingyu Peak to send Bai Tangyunfan and Prime Minister Han Qi down the mountain, and then preach to the disciples before letting them disperse. But he left Miao Yu behind. As for what he said to Miao Yu, no one knew, but some people saw Miao Yu's face looking ugly when he left. As a result, the disciples of Tianshui Peak did not dare to go down the mountain, not because of anything else, but because they were Miao Yu's disciples, and because Miao Qiangjai's character was implicated. They were unwilling to look at everyone's faces and they were talking about it, so they all hid in the mountains and had no intention of practicing. They don't know what will happen to them in the future. They used to be proud to say that their master was Miao Yu, but now they feel embarrassed and ashamed. The sect leader arranged for someone to send Miao Nagano back to the Miao family. In order to prevent others from talking nonsense, he arranged for someone to personally tell the Miao family leader what happened. As for how the Miao family treats Miao Qiangjai, Xianxia sect no longer pays attention. Xianxia sect has become the hottest topic in mainland China for a while, with both praise and criticism. The Xianxia sect has become silent, and even the disciples are not as lively as before, and fewer people go out to practice. Even though Yan Xianglou knew about the sect's situation, there was nothing he could do about it. He just had to get over it when it was difficult. She also stayed in Qiandu Peak to continue practicing and studying. Bai Tangyunyu discovered that from that day on, no senior brother was willing to get close to him anymore. Even Zhang Qinghao and the other 5 seemed to be distancing themselves from him. End of this chapter.